a fascination with death has been a widely discussed and shared topic among those interested in it. The grimness and strange intrigue surrounding the subject of the afterlife can stem from grief or a special bond an individual has with someone deceased. In some cases, to satisfy this longing or as a way to cope with loss, people often visit cemeteries to see graves. In other instances, they might use Ouija boards or other special devices to contact the other side. Depending on the case, these actions can lead to bad or not so good consequences. Then there are those who take this much further, to the point where it becomes illegal and bizarre. Hello, it's me again. And today we will explore the unusual and extremely strange story of a man living in Russia named Anatoly Moskvin. Anatoly is currently a 54-year-old man who, back in the 2000s, was recognized by many as a genius. He was a historian, a man who had published many scholarly documents and brought knowledge to many people with his extremely broad understanding of 13 different languages. His relatives and acquaintances said he was a quiet, very simple man with nothing unusual about him. However, he had a strange obsession with the afterlife, and the scholarly documents he had produced in the past somewhat confirmed this. He had an extremely dark secret, a secret that had existed around his relatives for a long time without their knowledge. Going back to the past, in 1966, Anatoly was born in the city of Nizhny Novgorod, Russia. His parents' names were Yuri Fedorovich and Elvira Alexandrovna, respectively. According to Anatoly's parents, he was very unsociable and found it difficult to make friends. However, he was extremely intelligent, so his parents thought that his shy nature was probably linked to his superior intellect and didn't worry too much about it. And because of that, Anatoly's childhood was completely different from other normal children's. He once recounted that one day in the 3rd grade, he returned home from school covered in bruises. It turned out those bruises were caused by a man who had raped Anatoly that day. To this day, it is still unclear whether he told his parents about this incident. And this wasn't even the most horrific event that happened in Anatoly's childhood. The following is the event that gave Anatoly his morbid interest in a very unusual subject: death. In 1979, when Anatoly was about 13 years old, a group of men in black suits stopped him on his way home from school. At that time, they were on their way to the funeral of an 11-year-old girl named Natasha Petrova. They then dragged Anatoly along with them. Those men in black suits pulled him along to the coffin and forced Anatoly to kiss the corpse of the deceased girl. I kissed her once, then again, and again. After that, the deceased girl's mother put a wedding ring on Anatoly and placed the other one on her dead daughter. From then on, Anatoly's obsession and fascination with the dead began to brew. After that event, Anatoly had strange dreams about the dead girl. He said she would visit him every night and tell him about the knowledge of black magic. At the same time, she begged Anatoly to find the village where these magic rituals were performed. After finding that village, the girl's visit stopped, but only for a short time. When Anatoly started visiting the village less regularly, she returned in his dreams. Anatoly tried to tell his parents this story when they took him to a doctor, and he received a diagnosis that this was happening because Anatoly was going through puberty. The doctor also prescribed Anatoly herbal sedatives, valerian, to help him relax. After a year of being visited by Natasha in his dreams, she finally grew tired of Anatoly constantly refusing to do her requests. Therefore, she made a deal with Anatoly. He would have to perform a black magic ritual, the ingredients of which included a tooth from one of his classmates. In return, she would leave forever and let Anatoly be. Somehow, according to Anatoly, the ritual was successfully performed, and as per the agreement, Natasha never returned again. However, that very ritual also began to spark Anatoly's intense interest in black magic and the occult. Sometime later, Anatoly attended a university in Moscow and received a degree in Celtic studies. A culture that required all this knowledge of beliefs combined with his passion for black magic led Anatoly to perform various rituals on dead animals and vow to live a celibate life. After graduating, Anatoly researched and learned all the information and complex structures of the cemeteries around his home. After sharing his knowledge in some of the documents he wrote, he claimed to have known and researched over 752 cemeteries from 2005 to 2007 in his hometown. Assisted by another well-known historian named Oleg Ryabov, the two began their cross-country journey to study and document cemeteries while simultaneously exploring their history. The purpose was to write a book called Nizhny Novgorod Necropolis, which would contain all their findings. But Anatoly Moskvin had another secret intention of his own. In 2009, local residents began to notice that their relatives' graves seemed to have been desecrated, some even completely dug up. That opened a 2-year investigation to look deeper into these incidents, which ultimately led nowhere. In 2011, an anti-Muslim terrorist attack occurred at an airport in Moscow, and only a short time later, authorities began receiving reports of Muslim graves being dug up and vandalized. After an investigation to find the suspect, Anatoly was quickly suspected and finally arrested after being caught in the act of desecrating a grave. Quickly after that, the police began to investigate Anatoly Moskvin more deeply regarding the bizarre acts he had committed, and the first place they searched was his residence. Because Anatoly was suspected of being part of an anti-Muslim group, when the investigation began, the police thought they would find evidence of that at his home. However, what they actually found will make your skin crawl. The police search of the house where Anatoly lived with his parents led to the discovery of 29 life-size dolls. These doll models were in the style of antique dolls, wearing different types of clothing. Anatoly had applied makeup to them. He even stuffed some sort of round object into their eye sockets to give them more life. But the scary thing here is that they weren't just ordinary dolls. All of these dolls were made from the mummified corpses of girls aged 3 to 12. When the police moved these dolls to investigate further, they noticed a clinking sound coming from them. Later, Anatoly revealed that he had made frames with music boxes for each doll so that when he interacted with them, they would respond with sound. Anatoly also memorized the birthday of each girl so he could celebrate their birthdays in his room. According to the police, there were photos and pieces of gravestones taken from the graves. A notebook on how to make these dolls and maps marking the locations of cemeteries in the area were found throughout the apartment. The clothes on most of these dolls were also the very clothes they were buried in. Anatoly shared that to give these dolls a complete shape, he had to wrap their arms and legs with cloth, then wrap them tightly with plastic. He did this with every limb and face of each doll before stuffing round objects into their eye sockets so they could watch cartoons with him. During the police interrogation, Anatoly said he loved almost all of them, but a few he wasn't interested in were left in the basement and abandoned to be forgotten. He did all of this alone. Anatoly's parents knew he had a passion for making strange, life-sized dolls, but the strange thing here is that they didn't really care about it, even when the corpse dolls emitted a very obvious foul odor. We saw the dolls, but we had no idea they were made from human remains. We thought it was our son's hobby and didn't see anything wrong with it. According to a neighbor next door, there was a very clear stench coming from their apartment every time he walked by, but he just thought it was some problem related to the sewage pipes and didn't think much of it. Of all the bodies he kept there, the one that had been with him the longest was 9 years. With all these findings, Anatoly was charged with extremely serious crimes. He admitted to desecrating a total of 44 graves and was confined to a psychiatric hospital shortly thereafter. There, he was diagnosed with schizophrenia and was detained in that hospital. There were many reports that Anatoly was beaten multiple times by the guards at this facility, and according to his mother, Anatoly had to take about 15 pills a day. This caused him to suffer from catatonia syndrome, a psychiatric disorder related to a person's ability to move and react. Therefore, a human rights lawyer named Violetta Volkova was hired to represent Anatoly Moskvin with the aim of helping him get out of this facility and move to another center for re-examination, expressing a lack of trust in the doctors at the current facility. After all the legal battles, in September 2018, he was given the opportunity to continue psychiatric treatment at home, along with his freedom. This decision was met with many intense and mixed reactions from the community. The mother of one of the victims, Natalia Chardimova, had not realized that all this time she had been visiting an empty coffin at her daughter's grave. Her daughter's body, Olga, was one of the 29 girls Anatoly had dug up and kept in his home. Olga had been brutally murdered when she was only 10 years old. It was the first day she was allowed to leave the house alone to go from her home to her grandmother's house, which was just in the next neighborhood, while her parents were still at work. I'm 10 years old now, I can go by myself. While this is perhaps the most terrible thing parents have to go through, I can't imagine the guilt they must have borne after learning of their daughter's dark fate. And not just once, but having their daughter taken away twice definitely made Natalia furious and one of the many who protested Anatoly's release. He needs to be monitored. This creature brought terror and panic into my life. So as of today, Anatoly Moskvin can be called a free man, as he is no longer under supervision and is free to move about in society. Free as he is, his story will always be remembered as one of the most bizarre and darkest in history. And I hope that this man is still being regularly monitored by the authorities from now until the end of his life. Because a person with mental illness and this strange passion being free means he could still easily resume his monstrous hobbies and inadvertently bring pain to others. The video ends here. If you liked it, please leave a like and share your feelings in the comments below. Thank you for watching. And now, goodbye and see you again. Subscribe to the Dreadvale Creepy channel so you don't miss any fascinating videos.